Hello, I'm Michael Depp, editor of TVNewsCheck, and this week I'm with Jay Leno, the host of the recently revived You Bet Your Life, and we are talking TV. Talking TV is made possible by Making the Media, a podcast from Avid exploring the forces that shape the media, news, and entertainment business. The latest episode focuses on education as schools, colleges, and universities get set to resume after the summer break. Host Craig Wilson speaks to Tom Rooms from Thomas More University in Belgium about the challenges facing new students entering the job market, how the university tries to innovate to stay ahead of trends, and how they are training journalists to work in a transmedia world. Making the Media is available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor FM, and other podcast platforms. Hello, Talking TV watchers and listeners. We want to hear from you. What subjects inside of the industry do you want to hear about? Who do you want to see in the guest chair? What are the most essential things that we should be talking about when we talk TV? If you're a media executive, manager, or professional in the C-suite, whether you're in the newsroom or the sales office, we want your ideas. And if it's a really good one, we have a gift for you, a free conference pass to the NAB show from October 9th through 13th in Las Vegas. All you have to do is email me, Michael Depp, the editor of TV News Check and host of Talking TV, at mcdepp@newscheckmedia.com. You can see it here on your screen and share your thoughts, your best ideas. If they are really good, we're going to give you a conference pass to the NAB show, and I hope to see you there. Hello, Jay. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you being here to talk about your revival of You Bet Your Life, which is a game show going back all the way to 1947 with Groucho Marx.
Actually, it goes back further than that. It was a radio show before that. I think it started in 39. So wow. There's a mystery there.
And some revivals. This is not the first. There was Buddy Hackett and Bill Cosby, I think, down the road.
Yeah, what happened with Cosby? I got to see what went on there. Some kind of mix-up or something. We'll find out more. I'll find out later.
Let us know. Please come back to us on that. So then now you're involved with this new iteration from Fox First Run. Tell me, how did you come to be attached with this project?
Well, I was looking for something to do. It's a show I always liked. You know, jaywalking, which you used to do on the Tonight Show, is really an offset of watching Groucho when I was a kid, because he would just talk to people and the conversation rarely had anything to do with what the show was about. And then it'd be, all right, let's play the game. So jaywalking is really just kind of like You Bet Your Life without the game part of it. And I learned from doing that almost everybody has something funny. Sometimes they're funny because they're so boring. Sometimes they're funny because they're so obnoxious. And sometimes they're funny just because they're funny. But almost, when we did jaywalking, we did it for 22 years. We did it probably 2 or 3 times a week sometimes. And never did once we have a situation of, oh, you humiliated me, I look stupid. People always felt they were in on the joke and they had fun with it. And that's what I liked about it. We didn't denigrate anybody or humiliate them. You weren't looking for the crazy homeless guy. We're looking for just normal people, nicely dressed, walking down the street. Can we ask you a question, sir? Yes, whatever it might be. And people had fun with it, Even ones like today might, like on Black History Month, we walked out and we stopped African Americans. African American? Yes, I do. What does NAACP stand for? I don't know. And it would be funny, and they would laugh, and they would be in on the joke. And we had a good time when I can't remember, it was some woman's holiday. I think it was celebrating when women got the vote. We went out, we just stopped women and we asked them about that. And most women under 25 thought women got the vote in 1966, which just astounded me. But I don't know why, but confusing it with the Civil Rights Act. So it was always a lot of fun, and it didn't take a lot of preparation. So when the idea of this show came around, I've been approached to do a couple other game shows, but they're mostly of the Uzbekistan has how many people, and it's what sort of government? Oh, I don't know. I don't care about Uzbekistan. There was nothing fun about it. It was just question and answer. Whereas this, people come in and they I read their bio or what they have some odd, we had a guy the other day who said he was the human computer, and he can, like when he goes in a restaurant, his friends are astounded by the fact that he can figure out the 15% of the bill. So I said to him, okay, what's 15% of $500? And he says, okay, 10% is $50. And I go, wait. First of all, you're the human computer, okay? I'm dyslexic, and I go, wait, 10% is $50. So you should have had this figured out by now. And it just made me laugh. But this guy said, oh no, I'll get it. And then he came up, oh, okay. It just odd, just some woman who thought she was a ventriloquist. I said, oh, could you? And she go, hi, how you doing? I go, okay, that's not really ventriloquism. You're just mashing your teeth and talking. Just odd, just very bizarre. And it's just interesting. And you realize everybody, I think, has one story. We had a guy who looked like Santa Claus, and he was Santa Claus at Christmas. I said, what do you do when you're not Santa Claus? He go, I'm a stripper. I go, really? I said, did the parents know? Have you ever been recognized as Santa Claus? I mean, some woman brings her child and she was at the bachelor party. He goes, no, I haven't had that happen. I said, what do you think it'll happen now? He goes, oh, I never thought about that. I go, yeah, you gotta think ahead,
Right.
You might lose your Santa Claus gig if people know you're, and then, okay, ready to play the game, and then you play the game and they can win or lose, whatever it might be. So that's what I liked about it. I asked who owned it and who owned the rights to it, and any interested in bringing it back, and they all said yes. And we said, okay. And we started doing it, and that's pretty much it.
So for people who don't know how you actually play the game, can you just paint a brief picture?
Okay. You and I would talk, and then okay. And then I would say, ready to play the game? Okay, I'm going to ask you 5 questions. Question number 5 is a double or nothing question. You can win up to $5,000. You just say the secret word, you get $500. And then you have 2 strangers who don't meet until they walk out there for the first time. This is my favorite part of the show. I love the diversity angle of it, because we have, most game shows that tape in California tend to use contestants from probably 30 miles away from the studio, apparently. There's enough people here. But there's a certain blasé that comes with living in Los Angeles and television. So we started a year ago sending out feelers. If you'd like to be on TV, if you'd like to be on this game show, we'll fly you in and put you up in a hotel and all that kind of stuff, give you per diem. And we got folks from the Bayou, folks from Maine, Connecticut. We had a guy the other day that really made me laugh. He was about 65 years old. He was the attendant at the town dump in North Carolina. And I just love the fact that he called it the dump. I see here in LA, that would be, the organic recycling, something, but he just called it the dump, Old white guy. We pair him up with a young woman, African-American woman. And the topic was TV shows in the 90s. And Sister was one of the shows. You remember that show? It was
vaguely.
I think kind of an African-American cast. And the old white goes, oh, and he knew every answer. He knew every person. He goes, I love that show. It's my favorite show. And it was just very funny, because it was sort of a juxtaposition. And the young African-American woman was sensitive. How do you know this show? He goes, oh, I love that show. And do you remember so-and-so who played so-and-so? And she goes, well, yeah, kind of. Okay, blah, 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 blah. And they hit it off, and they had a great time. And then you realize, maybe I'm being incredibly naive here, but most people want to do the right thing. Most people want to get along with one another. And that's what you see on the show. We had some people from Jamaica. We had people from Nigeria come on the show, people from just all over the place, every ethnic group, straight, gay, whatever. And there's no politics on the program. That was one of the rules. No politics at all, because nothing, I've had more Thanksgiving dinners ruined by politics than really almost anything else. And it really makes the show fun. And you realize, if you don't discuss politics, you can actually get along with people you wouldn't get along with if you were discussing politics, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Am I babbling, or is that making sense?
No. That makes so is COVID presenting any trouble? You have a live studio audience too, right?
We do. COVID does present a problem in the sense, instead of having 200 people, we have probably 35, 40 people. They've all been vaccinated. They have to have the card. They have to have you got to wear a mask. You got to do all that. That makes it a little tricky, but not impossible.
How does that feel for you as the host? Does it make it feel weird a little bit?
Well, as a comedian, I played just horrible strip joints, army bases, outside, Afghanistan, Bagram Air Force Base, they're dropping bomb, you're telling jokes. So you kind of get used to those kind of things. So it's just another thing in the way, and you work around it. You tell me what the circumstances are and we'll try to make it work. That's basically the attitude. You can't throw your hand. Well, I can't work under these conditions. I'm an artist, comedy is not that kind of thing. You just sort of make do with what you have. And actually it's good. The people are so anxious to get out and have some fun, win some money, that it's okay. I mean, it's a hindrance, but it's not impossible.
And this show brings you back with Kevin Eubanks, reunites you.
Yeah, that's great fun. I love working with Kev. Kev is probably one of the greatest jazz guitarists in the world. And he was in the band at the Tonight Show, and he was the guy I would always go to. And I remember one night I was doing the monologue, and Kev said, Jay, that joke wasn't funny. I go, Kev, I'm working. And people thought this was so funny. And I said, Kev, just follow your instinct. If you want to interrupt me, go ahead. Okay. And then we sort of got a riff going. And then I would always hear his voice behind the funnier headlines. Kev, here's one. And I would say it, And so I thought he would be a good guy to do this show with. And it works out perfectly. He plays sort of the George Fenneman role, if you remember the old Groucho. I go, Kev, who have you got today? Jay, I got two people. One's of this and one's of this. And they're going to meet here. And okay, let's bring them up. And we go back. And then Kev will sometimes interject and ask a question or comment or whatever it might be. But it works really, really well. I feel really good about this. Have you seen any of the test shows or anything? Have they sent you
I saw
anything?
about a minute. So not enough to get a flavor.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
So are you bringing any bits over from the Tonight Show? Anything carrying?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, headlines. I enjoy that. Those are non-political. Because we're doing 180 shows in 12 weeks. Topicality is really not a luxury we can do, which is fine because topical jokes don't really have any sort of shelf life. So headlines, comedy bits, funny tapes. The monologue is maybe 2.5, 3 minutes. We try to keep it moving fast. I think one of the big mistakes of strip shows like this, especially comedy shows, the sketches just go on too long because they're looking for an ending. The opening joke is funny, and then you go, God, how long is a sketch, Whereas this, we keep it real short, 2.5 minutes, boom, and then we start the game, and then you're kind of rolling,
Yeah. I just, a couple of other things I want to ask you.
Yeah.
First of all, this COVID period of a year and a half, how's it been for you?
Look, I'm lucky. This happened at the end of my career, not the beginning. At the beginning, it would have been devastating. I mean, I feel so sad for young comics, young musicians, because when I came to town, you could be a waiter or a waitress, or you could stand up in a club and pass the hat and make $6 or $8 or buy lunch or dinner or whatever it might be. You can't do any of that anymore. So I don't even feel I have the right to complain. I've been very successful, and it's all gravy past this point. So yeah, it's tricky. I mean, I'm working tonight, I'm working tomorrow, I'm working next time. There are a couple of clubs here in town that I've been doing, and I enjoy doing that and talking with young performers, young comedians, and getting back on the road. I mean, I did a lot of Zoom shows, a lot of corporate shows during the COVID period. It's like never explain, never complain. Your job is to tell jokes and have fun and entertain people. So to kind of bitch and moan about, oh, woe is me. I can't do that. I've been very fortunate. I've been very lucky. So it's an inconvenience, and it's awkward, but it's not nearly as bad as it is for just somebody who's halfway through a screenplay that the studios were going to buy, or a TV show that was just starting development and then it stopped. I mean, I really feel for those folks. It's really terrible. So for me to complain that, oh gosh, I didn't get something. Yeah, no, it's not right.
Right. And just lastly, I got to ask you,
Go ahead.
With everything going on in the world, and do you miss being behind the Tonight Show desk? Would you want to be hosting right now amid everything that's happening?
Well, when times are serious, you do silly jokes. When times are silly, you do serious jokes. Did I say that right? I'm dyslexic. And, people always said, oh, when Trump is president, it's going to be great for you. No, it's not. It's really worse when you don't like the people you're making fun of. When you have a certain affection for them, with President Bush, I could go, I don't think President Bush quite understands this. And then you do the joke and people start to snicker and you get the laugh going, With Trump, it was such a divisive period. It's either love or hate. And you're always going to lose half the audience no matter what you do. This show has been sold in just about 100% of the markets, 98%, 90, something like that. Mainly on the premise of no politics. We're not going to make fun of Biden, not going to make fun of Trump. We don't even go there. It's just about people and everyday life. And that's what seemed to sell it. That's what seemed to be a huge stuff. Because every station owner you talk to goes, I got this show, but it's starring so-and-so. And they're for or against or left or right, whatever it might be. And they're always losing half the audience. So the idea here is just plain old escapist television. It's silly, it's fun, it moves quickly. Everybody seems to have a good time. And we just have some interesting pairings. We had this huge guy. He's about 6'5", 6'6", African-American guy. And he was teamed up with this 75-year-old lady. And they were so excited. He picked her up like she was a Raggedy Andy doll. She's going like this with her. And he's going, hey, hey, hey. And the two of them are having the time. She's laughing and slapping him on the back. And they were having a lot of, it's just fun. It's just fun to see people just having fun, having a good time. Even when they lose, the most you can win on the show is $5,000. That's not going to change anybody's life. It might change your week or your month, but it's not going to change your whole life. So it's not like, oh my gosh, I went double or nothing and lost $250,000. It's not like that. So you win a few bucks, you have some fun. That's basically what it is.
That sounds great. Sounds like good fun. So
I hope so. I think so. I feel real good about it. I mean, I'm pretty much a realist. I don't have laugh heroes. I don't think everything you do is funny. So I like to kind of watch you. But the reactions that we get, we had a bunch of station owners in the other day, and the guy said to me, I usually just come to these things for 10 minutes, but I stayed for 3 shows. This was fun. I liked it. I said, oh, thanks. Well, thanks for buying the show, blah, blah, So yeah, I feel good about it. I think it'll be, I think it'll do well.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're having a good time with it. So good to see this revival coming around. Look forward to watching it. And thank you so much, Jay Leno, for being here today.
Well, thanks.
A new episode of Talking TV is available most Fridays on TVNewsCheck.com. You can also listen and subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and Spotify.